Yeah, yeah, homeboy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye. Yeah, yeah, homeboy, I'm telling you goodbye, I'm telling you goodbye.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
What's up guys, it's BT here, and it feels like forever ago when the Model O came out from Glorious, and it really set off an explosion of affordable lightweight honeycomb mice. Keyword there, affordable. $50 to $60 at the time was way more affordable than its only competition, the Final Mouse. Now, it wasn't the perfect mouse when it came out. It had issues like the cable being bent in the box, leading to shortages in connection. There were some copies where the mouse buttons were a little bit looser, but we have to remember guys, Glorious was a new company at the time and they had just came out with their very first mouse. But overall, I felt like it really did deliver what we needed at the time. So now they've taken all that experience from making those mice and put some big D energy into making the Lil D, D-. The build quality of this mouse has greatly improved from the original Model O. At the moment, there's only the matte coatings for $50 and the glossy, which will be available soon for $60. It comes in the same two colors, the white and the black. I know they just came out with the pink version of the Model O, but I would like to see them make some more specialized colored releases, and I know a lot of you guys out there would appreciate that. Glorious, you gotta make that happen. The coating on the matte feels great. They have the same flanking RGB along the sides and on the scroll wheel. The side buttons do actuate when pressing the sides, but only with extreme pressure, more stress than you would ever put on it while gaming. If you have this in one hand and you try to actuate the side buttons with the side flexing, you can't do it. It's very, very hard. With two hands you can do it, but it takes a lot of force. It's definitely a huge improvement over the original Model O. It's quoted at 61 grams, but I got around 62. This is due to there being some cable added. But what matters most, guys, is that this mouse is very well balanced. Personally, I think anywhere from 50 to 80 grams is the perfect range for a mouse weight. The ergonomic shape is very comfortable and has little ridges on the mouse 1 and 2. It's gonna be great for you guys that are just straight up palm grip users, like a flat palm. It's gonna be great for relaxed claw, relaxed palm, claw grip users, and even fingertip grip users. The good thing about ergo mice is that it kind of allows your wrist to be at an angle, which is more comfortable than having a straight on angle. I find with ergonomic mice, I can game for a longer period of time without fatigue. Now, is that the most optimal for aim? That's really trial and error. There are some sick aimers out there that use ergo mice. For my research, coming from somebody that's been using smaller mice recently, like the Vector Mini or the Ultralight 2, it definitely feels a lot wider, but that's because this is meant to have some room for your entire palm. If you're an aggressive claw grip user, I say stay with the Model O or the O-. I'm talking about if your hands are just like curled back like a spider, yeah, stick with the Model O or O-. If you're like a full palm grip user with your fingers laying flat, or you're like a 131 or something like that, I'd probably go with the Model D with a hand size of like 20 centimeters by like 10 centimeters. I'd say that's probably like the upper limit for this mouse. If you're coming from the EC2B, you're gonna feel right at home with this mouse. I do find that the EC2B is a little bit more comfortable though overall because of its slightly smoother curves. That's the best way to put it. Now, the benefit of going with a little D over the D that came out wrong, because when you have a smaller mouse, you'll be able to fine tune and control your mouse just a little bit more. So if at all possible, I really like to go with the smaller versions of these mice. So if you're wondering which one to get, like I said, if you're like 22 centimeters or above, I go with the D. If you're smaller than that, then I think you can get away with going with the little D. The Glorious mice now come in a box and the cord is now wrapped. It's no longer gonna have that kink. It's no longer gonna be shorting out on you. So if you're still holding that against them, it's time to give it up. It really is. Now, speaking of the Ascended Cable V2, there's really nothing to worry about, like I said, when it comes to shorting out. It's a good cord, but it's not great. It does its job of staying out of the way. I'd like to see them make a more soft, flexible V3 cable in the future, but overall this just gets the job done. I think Glorious went too loose, then they went too tight. They need to bring it back to the middle. I'd like to see them make a more soft, flexible V3 cable in the future. Overall, Glorious has really worked on their QC, and it really shows in this mouse. The Glorious mouse feet are as good as ever. They're thick, they're nice, they're juicy, they glide perfectly on every surface. My favorite stock mouse feet of any mouse out currently. They also give you the choice of adding these two bigger pieces of PTFE to turn the 4 feet essentially into 2 big ones. If you're more into glide and speed, go with the 2 pieces. If you want a little less speed and a little bit more control, go with the 4. Another thing that Glorious has really improved on is their mouse buttons. There's little to no wobble or pre-travel like there was on the original Glorious Model O. It's weird because the side buttons on the prototype that they gave me are actually better than this retail version. So Glorious, whatever you did on those, go back to the prototype. The DPI button is up top. That's the one thing I would maybe change. Glorious, I would like to see this on the bottom. I'm sorry for those of you guys out there that actually use the DPI button and map it to something else, but I just hit it way too often, and I usually just end up disabling it in the settings. They have the DPI indicator at the bottom, which I love. Let's drop a sound test for you guys right about now. Now they're also using the 3360 sensor. It works perfectly. I haven't noticed any discrepancies while gaming. There's no spin out, stuttering, inaccuracies, but we always want more and we always want the best. So I would like to see Glorious go with the 3389 sensor in their upcoming mice. The Glorious software allows you to change the DPI to a custom one. It can be changed in multiples of 100s for those of you guys out there that like those funky 900 DPIs because you're so rad, you know. You also have control over the liftoff distance and the debouncing. I always set the debouncing to 4 milliseconds once I get their mice, and I've never noticed it affecting my gameplay. And I just like this because it gives you a little bit less delay on your mouse clicks. And if you pick up your mouse a lot, I'd run the 2mm liftoff distance. Otherwise, you can leave that stock. It also allows you to control the RGB effects as well to match your setup. You can do a bunch of colors and different effects. You can also assign commands to your mouse buttons. Me personally, I just disable that DPI button like I said before. It's just way too easy to press, especially if you're palm gripping this mouse. The polling rate goes up to 1000 and you can change that as well within the settings. Overall, my experience with the Model D- has been overwhelmingly positive. Like I said, there's only a few things that I think that they can upgrade on this mouse, and that's just being nitpicky. I used this on stream right in front of you guys, and I was popping off with it. It only took me about 2 games to really get used to it in Valorant. Overall, Glorious has learned so much from the original Model O, and it really shows in the Model D-. I think they've done a great service to all of us, the consumers, and not just continuing to just put out these same products with the same issues, but to keep refining it while moving on to the next mice, and not just copying and pasting another shape onto the mouse while bringing us the same problems over and over again. Now guys, I think I speak for all of us. You know, I want to speak for you guys as well. I got your back. We need some wireless versions of these mice. Then we can start talking about in-game. You know what I'm saying? So Glorious, we got to make that happen. Hopefully, I don't know if it's gonna happen this year, but Glorious, next year. What do you say? Can we do it? All right, guys. It's been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.